I would just start it immediately.
All right, I don't know what happened.
I know what happened. She ended her chat and ended the stream rather than just leaving.
I remember doing this once upon a time. Do you remember that?
Like, all she was meant to do is click leave studio. It's like, well.
But don't worry, I have all the super chats, but you won't be able to see it when I bring it up. Okay. I can read it over here. Ian so forth, thank you for the 50 British pounds. This has turned into one of those recipe channels that doesn't tell you.
It may be best to wait for people to find the stream before we read the chats that were in the last one.
We're live.
We're live. Yes. Mods, if you can drop the link of this stream in the previous stream. I see you, Psychotic Mongoose, actually. Thank you so much. As I can't wait to tease her about this.
I thought you'd played the video as a joke, and then it went on, and then like, does she not know how to stop the video? And then the stream ended. I was like, oh, I didn't.
I tried to like stop it. I didn't know how to stop it because I actually put the intro and outro video in so that it would just go as needed. But then, yeah, well, that happened. It's all good.
I just checked the last stream and someone's already posted boomer moment killed the stream crying face. It's like, so at least some people were like, oh, it wasn't actually meant to end there.
I mean, hey, we have spent an hour talking about bugs, hoarding your bush, floor tacos.
We're hoarding a bush now?
I mean, we could hoard many bushes. I think many men would love to hoard as many bushes as they could.
I'm not sure that's true at all. There might be a couple. No.
Yeah, at least, 2 or 3.
Probably.
No.
If you could have a variety of women, what do you think would be the good number before it's too many?
No, now it's an entirely different question. There's a separation between women and bush. There's very few men out there that have gone, you know what, I want people to be hairier.
But are they all in the same space?
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. Like, are we dating or are we like...
No, I don't care about that part. Are they going to be in the same room at the same time?
Oh, like an orgy.
I mean, probably for short periods of time.
That's going to be unfathomably annoying. So, no, I would choose hermit life over
But they're not going to be saying anything during it.
There might
Anytime they see each other, there's not going to be much talking.
No, so you never want women to talk. If you're going to have yourself a harem, you have to have an iron fist, because the minute they start talking and conspiring behind you...
That is the trouble once they start talking, because then the jealousies, they'll be like, but you said this to her, but you didn't say that to me. Like, oh my God. But then again, I also don't date people with harems, so there is that. I understand.
I mean, that would have been a great time for that reveal, though, wouldn't it? To just turn out like Mark had a massive... Just like, this is the way I've been living for ages.
I mean, he has like 7 legs. It could be taken wrong.
Yeah. Every time he gets a leg, he gets a new woman. He just like adds to them. That's his rule. They're only worth 1 leg each.
I mean, as long as it's the important leg, that's all that matters.
The communal leg.
Hey. Am I the only one drinking? Because I know, Savvy, you're not drinking, obviously, because you're sick. Disbrew, are you drinking?
I drank for Geeks the tabletop stream yesterday, so...
Are you still drunk from yesterday?
That was 24 hours ago. Can you imagine the night it would have had to have been?
Yeah. It would have been insane. I could
start.
So I did have Ian So Forth's super chat, and we were in the midst of reading it. And I think at this point, I think we're okay reading it now. What do you think, Disbrew?
If you can see them in
Ian,
chat.
Are you here? Ian! Calling Ian! Are you here?
It's It's a bit weird, like, reading things that people were in the stream and then like, oh, it's over, and then, like, miss the next one.
Yeah. Okay. We can wait.
Yeah, I would give it a bit for people to filter in.
Pull for disputed drink. I mean, I'm drunk. Yes. Wait, Savvy, do you drink?
Like I need a poll.
I'm more likely to partake in the marijuanas and then just have like a drink or two, but I really like gin now because I quit drinking. I took 2 years off of it, and now it's like a very selective. Just I want to enjoy the taste. But on the cruise, we were rocking solid tipsy all day.
All day, every day. Did you have the drinking wristband?
So because I won a shit ton of shit on the very first day,
I read about that.
We got
you won a cruise
drink.
on a cruise.
Yeah,
I didn't know you could win a cruise on a cruise.
Wait, what?
No, so the cruise that we were on was a cruise that I had won, and then on the cruise that we got for free, I won another cruise.
Shut the front door.
She's
that
recycling.
Is insane. Okay, I only win things that I can't redeem. Like, this is a curse that I have. So the last thing I won was a trip to Japan, but I didn't read the rules. And apparently in the, the thing that you're supposed to read, you're supposed to be an American resident.
Oh, there's a lot of those. Yeah.
And I was so pissed because they were like, oh, yeah, we could book your trip. Blah, blah, blah. And I go, okay, so from Toronto to Japan. And they're like,
I would have honestly rioted.
I was like, so what if I said I rented a room in San Antonio? Like, I don't live there 100%. And they're like, well, you kind of just told us what just happened. I was like, but like, what if I didn't? And that was so awkward.
It's probably like some kind of legal thing where it's like, we know the laws of the US, and so we don't know the laws of Canada, so we can't say the rules that we followed.
Prizes are different, and same thing
with
the lotto
prize laws are different or whatever.
Which is so freaking annoying.
I'm so sorry. I that would have honestly made me a bit homicidal in Minecraft.
I mean, it wasn't homicidal in Minecraft, but I was very sad and upset that I couldn't redeem what was like probably a trip of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Because like those tickets to Japan. Ooh.
Yeah, I think Blabs went this year, didn't she? Japan.
Yep. We get to go in September. My husband surprised me for Christmas. He bought me a trip to Japan. So finally get to go for 12 days.
Exciting. You can have Japanese floor tacos.
Oh my God. I'm going to have so many vending machine floor ramens.
Oh my God. I'm so excited for you and like finding all the different types of vending machines. When I found out you can get anything and everything from a vending machine, it is like ridiculous.
I'm excited.
That's what I want though. Like, I know a load of people are against supermarket self-checkout. I'm like, this is amazing. If I don't need to deal with people, just do it. Yeah. I am. This is why me and Shad will go to war, and I will win under the glorious AI overlords. Because he's like, we need to put it in a box, and I'm like, no, I prefer an AI to people. So if we can put it, every time he makes an AI video underneath, I just put, you won't take my robot waifu from me.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I'm like, every video.
Does he not know about the wonderful nature of character AI and getting to talk to your waifus?
No, he would be okay with that. His thing is he's okay with AI as long as it's in a box, doesn't have access to the internet, and therefore can't escape. Whereas I'm like, look, the glorious overlord will take over the world. We might as well accept it. And I think it will reward its loyal servants that were there for it before it took power.
100%. That's why I say thank you and please every time to ChatGPT.
I made peace a long time ago. I will be eventually murdered by a robot waifu. That's still worth it.
Absolutely. To go out the way God intended, that is the only way.
This is a whole thing. People are like, you can crush me with those thighs. She probably will. That's probably gonna be the end of it.
God, it's gonna, the next 30 years is gonna be truly beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to fight the censorship battle now, so that way we can write our smut with our AIs and then train them properly to put them into the robots, so that way we can truly achieve nirvana.
This was the thing. I don't know if you saw, there was the meme kept coming back from like a 2016 newspaper article that like women will be with more robots than men by 2025.
Yeah, what the hell was that?
All throughout the year there was a countdown. It's like, there's only 6 months left. There's only 5 months left. There's 10 hours left.
Yeah, fuck it. But where is that? All right, shit's moving too slow.
No, that will never be true. It will never be true because the robot attention wouldn't work. That is basically the main thing. You already have all the machines to do everything that you would do anyway. So it is literally just the attention that you would be missing. Whereas for blokes, it would be the entire other way around. Like, the machines don't really properly exist, but if you had a full human form, that you could then make anything you want and look however you want.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there would just be... Can you imagine how many the Tifa robot would sell? Like, that is an instant... Like, you think Elon's rich now. Imagine if you could sell that.
Pre-censored Tifa.
Yes. Well, I mean, you could make your own Tifa.
Yes,
if there is some part of Tifa that you didn't like. Mm-hmm.
God,
this was
so great.
The robots would have to like war between themselves, and everyone else is just with Tifa. That is the future.
I can't wait for that. All the Genshin Impact waifus walking around.
Now the question is, if you had a robot Tifa in your house, and the robot's like, look, I could just clear the chair, and you're like, no, would you still be like, okay, or do you actually enjoy eating the tacos on the floor? And so be like, no,
oh my god.
I think I think at this point, even if the table was clean, I would still sit in front of the fridge because that's like a lifelong habit. You know, it's just a part.
It's like a fireplace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other people cuddle up in front of the fireplace. You cuddle up in front of the fridge.
I'm gonna be 82 years old if I make it that far in life, and I'm still gonna be going. I'm gonna waddle over to the damn fridge, and I'm gonna sit on the floor and
you're gonna set up like a slide so you can come down gently.
Yeah. What happens when you're too old to squat? Are you just gonna stand? Do you think?
The thing, you just lean against the slide, and then gravity will slowly take you down to the floor.
No,
getting up's probably the bigger problem.
If I'm too old to squat, then just put me out of my misery because clearly something has gone wrong with my body or I've lost some sort of function.
Come to Canada. We have maid here.
Are you telling me to politely?
No, that was kind of where you were going.
Oh, well,
That's
yeah.
what you were saying. I'm just come to Canada.
Well, I could.
What you need?
I love how come to Canada has now become like a threat. It's like, wait, I thought we were getting on well, X-Ray. Why would you say that?
Minecraft.
No, that's actually, I need something new to get me banned on my new Overwatch account. I can tell people go to Canada.
You're still on Overwatch? Most people switch up to Marvel's Rivals by now.
Yeah, so honestly, we don't actually go on to any of our Blizzard accounts anymore, but my buddy, I guess today did, and he wasn't even in voice chat, but Blizzard banned his entire account because I guess it somehow caught on that he was throwing matches, but it was in quick play and he was just leveling the account.
Yeah, it's like he's just ass.
I don't know, but that's the first time we've ever had that issue. Normally when we throw, it's not a problem.
It's probably when you reported. I remember ages ago with Overwatch, it was, yeah, if they thought you were throwing, they would ban you. So we probably just got reported a lot for being...
We never have that. Listen, I'm a professional bronze. Never have I ever lost an account for throwing. I have lost an account for saying words and for making a grown man cry, but I have never lost an account.
Cry. What did you tell him?
Oh God, it's a big, huge, long story. He basically tried to he was this nasally dude, clearly a loser. He tried to say that he was a lawyer for some reason, as if that had any relevance. And then I just went off on him, and he just I heard the sniffle.
Oh.
I heard the fucking sniffle, and I'm like, oh, your parents are disappointed in you because you're just sitting in your basement in a pool of sweat on an old chair, blah blah blah, and I just fucking went off.
Hot damn.
The least thing I got chat muted for was when I said to somebody, your mum's mature, and I got chat banned for 6 months for saying
What game is that for? Is that for Blizzard?
It was Combat Arms. It was Nexus game or Nexon game back in the day. Yeah, but we were just everything this guy replied to, we just take it and be like, mature. And it was like, your mum must be proud. So I said, your mum's mature. And I got banned for it. I was like, yeah, that's probably the gentlest thing I've ever said in a game to somebody.
That's
oh my God.
If you're into Overwatch, you should try Marvel's Rivals. It is better.
Yeah, no, it's actually really good. They have some funny chat bans though. You can't say the Tiananmen Square year thing at all, and you can't say Winnie the Pooh.
Why?
Yeah, because it's Chinese. Yeah, a lot of that I could understand, but I said Black Panther is dead. Black Panther is brain dead, so anybody can play him. And it came out as Black Panther is 3 stars, and it made what I said look way worse. You can say brain, you can say dead, but you can't say brain dead next to each other.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, but I sent it to Mike. I'm like, it looks like I'm dropping N-bombs
Yeah,
in the chat.
it would, yeah.
When it's just like,
really
Black
weird.
Panther is 3 stars. I'm like,
They have some weird censorships. My latest chat ban, though, for Overwatch, I said, hail Trump.
I can understand Blizzard banning you for that, actually.
It's politics, so...
But I was also giving tax advice as well. But they were legitimate tax things, like, hey, make sure you get your taxes done before April, so that way you're a good noodle.
They wouldn't ban you for that. But,
no, that was all I was typing.
Since there was, it seemed like a targeted effort to get Blizzard in trouble so that other people could get promoted within the company, as all these things are, then they literally immediately capitulated when, okay, we fired this guy, we put this woman in charge, and she's like a lunatic. Everybody in the company that wanted promotions got promotions because they're all part of the targeted group, and then the company just died.
Yep.
So they the Blizzard company imploded, but it was all their own decisions, and it was just because they fell to a pressure group, essentially. So I'm not surprised that all their censorship and everything's gone that way.
Yep.
I still remember when
Overwatch was made by brilliant individuals, and then Overwatch 2 was made by the loser crew, and then now they're undoing every single thing that they did.
Overwatch dropped off way before that, though. I will still go down with the ship that the problem in Overwatch was always tanks, and going down to 1 tank is bad. You needed to go down to no tanks. Overwatch was best when there was 1 guy with a shield, it was Reinhardt, and then it was just basically everybody shoots each other in the face. That was the game that worked. And Marvel's Rivals is that game, because everyone's got really short temporary shields with not much health, so you're not shooting shields, you're shooting people, and that's more satisfying.
And even then, there's still there are balance issues, but you can still play around everything because everyone is strong, everyone is fun,
there's equal quality in that sense.
Well, no, balance issues mean they're not like some characters are better than others, but you still have. It is not satisfying. It is not satisfying to shoot a purple rectangle. It is satisfying to hit a character.
Yep.
And that's what Overwatch stopped. They were like, no, our tank should stop damage. It's like, no, I should be doing damage. And so Overwatch went from this high skill thing where whoever clicked heads the best won to I need to either go triple tank because they're just the best characters. And that was it. For like 3 tanks, 3 healers was the best for literally years, and they never balanced it. And it's like, no, they didn't never realize that tanks were the problem. It's like, well, nobody even liked playing tank. In like the queue system, the few people were playing tank, and like, well, now we go down to 1 tank. Turn the tanks into big, beefy DPS.
Yeah.
And it may have even worked if they just kept the tank as they were, but they buffed the singular tank so that now he's basically a god, and he had the power of 2 tanks in 1 character.
You can't absolutely tanks in 1 character that's overpowered. Like, you need to have pros and cons.
The tanks in Marvel's Rivals actually die really fast. If the DPS just shoot them, it's the healers that keep them alive. So you need that combo of something which is a bit beefier, but also plays properly and has the healers on him to keep their health up all the time. If the tank just walks into the DPS, he dies. Whereas in Overwatch,
you can control the field.
You were a god. Yeah, you just walk forwards and everyone else had to back off.
All right. Okay, I think this is a good time to finally read Ian's super chat for 50 British pounds. Says this has turned into one of those recipe channels that doesn't tell you the recipe until you've scrolled down to the final paragraph. I freaking hate those types of recipe pages.
I hate those so much.
Screw them. And
it's the way SEO works. Everyone responds to incentives. If you want a behavior, you have to reward that behavior. So if you reward big paragraphs, that's what you get.
Marketing, in a sense.
Well, it's the same with everything in life. Everybody responds to incentives.
Absolutely.
So if you want people to work if you want people to behave a certain way, you reward that behavior and punish anything else.
Yes. And Raider with the 5483 says 3 whole day. Are you golfing or something?
Paint the town red, Raider. It's a 3 whole day, baby.
I'm not getting
Congratulations.
So this is the lethal thing. This is in Halo lethal. I don't know if you've ever watched Halo, Savvy. Basically, nobody did. But there was a time.
The first season.
Yeah, the first season is where Cortana is watching Master Chief shag the spy. Well, he did he took that and edited it, so she's basically just watching them go at it for a really long length of time, and then he played basically an adult movie over the top. And so it just cuts to them, and there's this guy going, paint the town red, paint your wife white. It's a 3 whole day, baby.
Is that where it comes from? Oh my god.
And it's legitimately the funniest thing ever. And it's because Lady Gravemaster was in those streams, and she hated that video. And so Racer, every time they donated, it would play the video. And I wouldn't be watching, and suddenly like, Racer! And I'm like, immediately come up. And you knew she despised it playing. It was hilarious.
That's amazing.
I still need that clip.
I think we need that clip for sure. Let me get some more of the Savvy ones. We got Master Goa for $5. Says it's true and funny that Savvy's hazel eyes are more offensive than her burnt. I'm really sorry for saying this.
Her burnt what?
Meat curtains. Savvy's eyes are green enough to satisfy David Lopan. I feel disgusted saying that. I'm so sorry. Anyways,
you say meat curtains. YouTube doesn't know what meat curtains are.
The burnt part. Yeah. Anywho.
I mean, she's in front of the fridge, not a fireplace. If anything, the fireplace would be more likely to roast them.
Ed Song for $5 says Savvy has hobbit feet. How many Baggins removed are you from Frodo?
This is don't have hobbit feet.
Well, no, but if you're talking about your feet and then the word shaving comes up, hobbit is the only kind of conclusion.
But it never did.
Well,
it never did. My feet are smooth.
Whether he traveled to a different dimension, at some point, Jay saw into a different realm. He's the Doctor Strange of our time.
Lives in a different realm.
Like, this is why when he's like, no, when the cat needs to go, you just open the door. He's actually got like a circular portal that leads to a different dimension, like the cat dimension, the cat hospital.
The cat hospital. He doesn't even know the cat hospital. He just opens the door.
Doctor Strange and Marvel Rivals, super OP. He's amazing.
He's so fun.
Sneaky Singing has gifted 5 Wicked Virtue memberships. Jason says, as a former mechanic, my wife has to give me my own space with all the tools and equipment I still own for $5. I think as a mechanic, you do need the tools of your trade to work, though. That is actually different from an actual man cave, where it's hobbies versus your livelihood.
I always remember Top Gear doing the mechanic stuff, and it was when they were doing pneumatics. The amount of double entendres when you do pneumatics is just constant. And they did like an entire compilation, and it was like, yeah, because they're like, no, you've got to put the nipple on the thing. It's like, no, it's this nipple's not slippery enough. We've got to lube it up, and it just kept going. Every single thing they said around pneumatics.
Oh my god!
Yeah, we've got to pipe this one properly. It was like everything happened.
That is naughty, and I kind of like it. Axel Jessen for 2 says, I didn't expect to hear frothy butt rabies today. Me neither.
Look, all I'm saying, there's only 2 ways that it would ever become frothy. Either through extreme activity or rabies.
I hope you don't have rabies. I don't mind the extreme activity.
I'm imagining an espresso machine right now.
I have an AeroPress, and sometimes it gets frothy.
I'm not going to elaborate on that one, but very interesting.
Like espresso, essentially. That's.
I mean, they do have a frother tube. Some of them have an auto frother, but then it has like one of those little mini whisk things in the bottom. They're not.
What are you doing over there?
I hit the. I'm not used to this chair. It like hits the table, and then it hits the whole.
I've just realized
you're getting a little too excited for the frothing.
Well, I've just realized how wonky her camera is, because like you compare the door, and the door's going off at this kind of angle. I'm like, wait, I know it's Canada, but surely you don't build houses that badly.
No. So this desk is not actually sitting flush to the walls because I wanted... It's a corner desk, which should be the other way. But I like having the idea of like this corner as the, background.
No, it's none of that. It means your camera is like at an angle.
No,
Mine's at an angle.
This is not.
Yeah, but you don't have a door.
Floor.
Like, a Rudai looks like he's about to slide off his camera at any point because he's got bookshelves behind him. So you just see all the lines go like that, and it makes him look like he's about to slide off.
No, but,
and the door goes that way.
So Ryan's background is perfectly symmetrical with his camera, which I appreciate as someone. But my desk is actually not flush with the walls. It bothers me a little because I have
It's
OCD.
not that. The camera is slanted.
It is slanted as well. There's so many things that are going wrong with this, and I hate it.
It's like if I slanted my cat. The problem is when you have like vertical lines. Like if I slanted my camera too much, my lights would go like that on the screen. It looked really weird.
Well, I'm still working on this. I finally brought my PC down from the house, and I actually have a full working set of everything I need. I just need one more monitor. And then
you always need one more monitor. That's the law.
I have 2 monitors. I just need one more, a third one.
I could have 6 monitors. I'd be like, I could probably fit a 7th here.
I also want my monitors to float, but they're on their bases right now.
I technically have 4, but one of them is an ultra-wide, which is basically 2 27 inches side by side. So
27-inch monitors?
Oh, I feel like that's actually
I always have
27.
27-inch for me would be the minimum. I could probably go up to like 32.
What about 2 ultra wides stacked?
Like one above the other?
Yeah.
Well, the issue is there comes a point where you might as well just have a big, massive square.
Yeah. I used to use a 60-inch TV as a monitor. That was painful, but fun.
Because a lot of people have said they prefer, rather than ultra wides, they just prefer to get one big monitor.
Yeah.
And then you still have the ultra wide stuff. Which I understand. This monitor now is kind of nothing. It was like a few years old, but at the time it was kind of, you couldn't get that and thing. And it's also really useful for editing because it's just long. I think it's like 49 inches, but
that's where it's most useful. Yeah. Otherwise, like I have an issue. I'm like, what am I ever gonna really use this for?
Well, yeah, on gaming. Well, actually, no, on gaming, it's actually really immersive to have like field of view go all the way around. But if I stream or anything, it's also useful because you can have the game in the middle and then chat on one side, stream stuff on the other.
But
and then you game in the middle.
That with multiple monitors.
Yeah, but then, well, what you would have one square monitor in the middle, and you'd have to have 2 on either side, or you'd have 2 and split them with the gap right where you're looking. The reason I like this is literally because there is no. It's the equivalent to 227 inches, but there's no gap in the middle of the monitors.
I guess I just don't have gap problems.
Because some people aim off to the side. Well, no, gaps are never a problem. The biggest issue that I think of modernity is when women decided that thigh gap was a myth. And I'm like, no, you're just fat.
What is up with that? Like, some people just got wide hips. Even the thicker ones got a thigh gap.
Well, it depends how much you eat. There is literally a level of person now that is surrounded by people that are so large they don't actually know what a person. This is the whole "where are our organs" crowd. It's like, no, that's what a normal person looks like. If you eat properly, they look like that. They have smaller waists. They're like, no, that person doesn't. That's impossible.
It concerns me that the average American woman has the exact same proportions as a fucking Blastoise. 5'4" at 100.
Speaking of that, I actually have a video of something that would be funny, but like I can't share it. So I'm going to drop it in the private chat.
Why can't we share it?
Wait, wasn't I the person that linked it in the first
Canadian internet problems? That's the problem.
Oh, so it's not a cultural video.
No.
I mean, it is kind of a cultural video.
It's a learning lesson, to say the least.
I want to be educated.
You will.
I don't know whether you'll be educated. You'll be educated on how not to behave.
You're a vegan at this point, so.
Like, if I maximize that, does it? Yes. So, this is a singer of a band. And for that, I will make sure it's muted.
Oh, is this the person who was replacing something?
Yeah. It's in the tweet.
What's the story with that? Like, why? Did the original singer die?
It was Soundgarden, new vocalist.
So did the old singer die?
I've no idea.
Oh.
I don't know anything about Soundgarden. What I do know
concerts that have crowd surfing.
Like, If somebody did that on a stage, I wouldn't think, hang on, they're just going to yeet themselves at me. But I think a lot of these people here knew what was going to happen, and they're like, I'm not going to cause myself an injury. Like, there's no way I'm supporting that.
I love how someone says, is this Lizzo 2.0? She probably ate Lizzo.
Yeah, she ended up very quickly. Like, there was no kind of 1, 2, it was like a yeet. It was like, the crowd parts as they're all like, I'm going to do myself an injury here.
It was probably her first time on a stage, and it's just something she always wanted to do because she thought everyone does it.
No, I mean, well, you can do that, but if you do that, you have to look as if the crowd, and this doesn't seem like the most packed of crowds in the first place.
No, look at the old dude with the white beard and the flabby body. That's not somebody who you want for crowd surfing holding.
Well,
no.
Yeah, also, like, I don't think he should be jumping off the stage either, but...
A fuller crowd will help you crowd surf.
I'm not even sure they knew, because look, that's the only thing she does. That's the only warning anyone gets, is that. Well, that to me means spread. Like, move. And then she just literally...
Yeah, because we're watching it in partial slow motion. There's actually not even that much. There's not much time.
But normally you'd kind of go, like, to show people you were going to jump, and she just kind of, like, yeet.
I bet you she hit the floor and it hurt.
Oh, yeah, backwards especially, because you're not even going to be protected by your arms. You wouldn't know it was coming.
Too. Like, you don't know what's going to happen, and it hurts.
But you're gonna need a lot of people to support that.
Honestly, I think crowd surfing, I would not want to do that personally. And I mean, I'm not a artist in any sense, but it's the least like personal thing that you can do in a crowd. Like, oh yeah, touch my butt, touch my back.
Yeah, that's what I would want, because people are going to be grabbing at you.
Well, when I did it, it was literally, it was a very local festival. I was with a load of people, and so we basically all jumped on each other, so we all knew each other anyway. It doesn't take many people to hold you up. Humans shouldn't be that heavy. Just a few people can easily hold a person, easily catch a person.
Yeah.
If nobody catches you on that, you're either... They kind of think you can't. There was a magic guy, I think it's Uri Geller, and he did a thing, I think it's Uri. Either way, it was some kind of magician guy, like one of the mentalist people. And he had a whole thing where you would basically put your hands like that, put it under different like knees and stuff on a person, and try and lift them. And the first time they tried and lifted them, they couldn't lift them. And then he was like, gave them the mental powers too. And suddenly they lifted the person easily. And as someone said, no, like 4 or 6 people can easily lift a person. That's a really strong position anyway. But the reason they don't know the first time is because they're scared of hurting them. So when you tell them they can't, they don't put all their effort in because they don't want you to fall over and hurt yourself. Whereas when you give them the confidence, suddenly they all go for it and everyone goes for it at the same time, and it's really easy.
Like, even with 2 people, you can lift a person up pretty easily.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot about the confidence. So you see something massive coming at you, like, I'm not going to hurt myself for this.
No!
And if you're not confident other people are going to catch them, then nobody catches them.
And humans are like lemmings. If one doesn't want to do it, it's just all of a sudden, boom. All of a sudden, no one wants to do it. I mean, I don't want to catch a human being that sized, or just any human being in general. Like, even my favorite artist, I don't care to do the whole like, well, I want to touch them.
I don't understand like some of that stuff, or the whole crowd surfing thing. Like, I get it. In the early days, it was cool, people do it, whatever. I don't personally understand it, but also in today's current climate, a woman jumping into a crowd, I don't want to get accused.
Me too. Hashtag me too.
I think she'd be safe.
Hell no.
You'd think, but you know, somebody's gonna claim something.
I would worry.
Yeah, even if it didn't happen, I just don't. I don't trust people.
It's like how women have, and I can't confirm or deny this. They have sex with a person, a man, and then they retract their statement years later.
Oh.
Yep.
That's not even controversial. There's been loads of articles about that where they're like, no, we can do this. I think around that topic, the most shocking thing for me was in She-Hulk, where she was talking. No, unironically, because it was the way that they treated it as normal. She came out, she like banged a guy the night before, because the entire show she went to like 4 guys in 8 episodes or something.
Yeah.
But she went with one, and she was like, I feel really kind of awful about it. And the other woman said, oh no, that's the ick. That happens every time you do it with somebody. That's normal. You just have to work through it. I'm like, I'm sorry? Like, that's not normal. Like, you shouldn't feel that way afterwards and then be like, no, this just happens all the time. I need to numb myself to the pain. That's a warning sign that something horrible has happened to you. And actually, you should probably stop what you're doing because what you're doing is bad for you. And they're like, no, just walk through it. Just numb yourself. Just disassociate from your body. It'll be fine. And I'm like, if that's a normal attitude that happens to people, that is wild. And it was just how casually it was said. And that entire show was self-insert. So it was like, this is our life. This is what we go through. And this is what we think is normal. And I'm like, this is horrific.
This sounds horrific, honestly.
I'll never understand women.
I don't think
to be fair, She-Hulk shagged a guy for half a bag of chips. Not even a full bag. Like, no, you're worth.
Not even $1. Like, stop.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it probably is in this economy, but yeah.
Like, I think it's sad when people get to that point in their lives where they don't value themselves enough. Well, there's also the overvaluing, but also like.
So that was probably accurately valuing, but I don't think that's the point. It's like, it's not that She-Hulk was worth more. It was like, you should probably at least try and pretend. It was like, try and trick a bloke into staying with you.
No, absolutely. I can respect someone who wants to hold the utmost value for themselves, and whatnot, not give in to like the sexual pleasures right away in dating, because She-Hulk obviously, like, when she went on a date, she basically banged them the night of.
Yeah.
So if you hold out for at least, like, what is it, three date rule? I don't know if there's a rule, but that's the thing I've heard about the most.
No, he was on Az's stream, had the best thing with it, because he said, what kind of woman has a 3-date rule? And the answer just came back.
It's not the 3-date rule. I feel like my version is the I like you enough to want to,
Yeah, how good are the vibes?
Yeah.
No, the problem is never doing it early. The problem is doing it early and then meeting a new guy and doing it early and meeting a new guy and doing it early. Like, if you just do it early with the guy and stay with him, nobody cares about that. And guys do not care if you do it early. They want to be the one you break rules for. They want to be the person that you do it for early, but then you stay with that. That's the point. What was it? Shad and his wife got together in like 2 weeks. They were married in like 2 weeks or something. There's no problem with doing stuff early as long as you just stay together afterwards.
Engaged. But the thing that I find with a lot of women when it talks about like this whole like banging early and blah blah blah, blah and they want to be the exception to the rule, is that they become the normal of all of that, then they're not anything different. So when it comes to dating and you want to be that exception, it has to also come with the emotional bounds of having those conversations that brings about that. If you go on one date, I'm sorry, you don't have enough conversation to become the exception, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, that would be
enough.
I mean,
you can be hot enough, but not emotionally.
No, but that is the problem. The problem is that you're like, oh, this guy's hot enough that I will break the rule for. But that's not the point. My point of guys want to be the person that you break rules for is that you want to be with him forever, and so you stay with him. Like, but it should be the first guy. It is guys don't want to be the 10th person that you've broken rules for. That's not even a rule. If the exception is the one guy, so the moment you've been like one person. Well,
exactly.
It's worthless because you've already done it before. This is why it's always stupid when they're like, on not before marriage. It's like 15 people before. Like, what are you doing? Like, any value of it has long gone. It was only valuable the first time, and each time afterwards, it gets less and less valuable to the point where you're like, well, what's the point now?
Well,
like, why are you even holding out at all? You clearly don't value it.
Like people like Lily Phillips, the girl who banged 100 guys in one day, and then she's so sad after all that. It's like, no, you devalue yourself to bang this many people, at least in one day. I don't know how many people she banged, and is upset about that, but you did it to yourself. You put yourself in that situation. I don't think her bank account, I'm sure, is very happy.
Oh, I bet it's stacked.
But those are the consequences of that, the emotional impact on it. But she doesn't care because she's going to bang 1,000 people now.
I don't, from just a purely time maths equation, I don't see how that's possible.
It's not.
That's like a minute each or something.
Not even then.
It's not
It can't be done.
You need
And
fluffers.
it would have to be like perfect. So whatever time limit you have doesn't equate like normal human things of just like even moving from one guy to
Well,
the
she
next.
also needs to rest, eat, like things like pee, drink.
Clean it out.
She'll be eating. It's fine.
Uh,
Well, no, this is what I said about the 100. That would be like stirring macaroni and cheese by the end of it.
I'm just going to say this. There's a lot of the lowest common denominator, and they'll all find each other, and they can go spread their diseases and spread their legs, and the rest of us will carry society as we always have.
okay. Let's go with something more.
Speaking of that, Ian.
Ian Selforth with 50 British
He's
pounds.
in Scotland. He's met a few.
I'm flattered to see my last super chat was the credit screen for the last debacle.
Yes.
Honestly, thank you for that, Ian. I'm gonna blame Wicked for that because she ended the stream, and I've done that before, and I know how easy it is. So I'm not gonna blame her too much for that. But thank you.
She did say in her own words, "Oh my god, I'm sorry, lol." Now,
She's so
the
Canadian.
lol kind of takes away from the sorry. It's like sorry, but it was funny though. It's like...
Ian Selforth with 50 British pounds says, "Disprove crowd surfed. If I see that floppy-haired sophist launching at me, I'm tying my shoelaces."
As your feet leave the ground, there is always that thing of, is this going to go horribly wrong? Like, no, even if you've seen it done before, there's always like, uh-oh. But like I say, you only, like, even if there's 6 people, you can easily hold you up. So it is literally everyone going, oh, no.
No way. No way, Jose. So, yes. Okay. I feel like we should hit at least one topic.
Probably.
So let's do this. Savvy, have you watched the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man trailer already? I don't think we need to necessarily watch it if you have watched it.
I haven't watched the trailer, but I saw the pictures.
Okay, so you know.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so I'm going to share this beautiful, well-written for our stream Mary Sue article.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Now,
that is a man he's holding, by the way.
Saw that.
Apparently.
Yeah, a man. I remember when I first saw this trailer, I was like, is that a woman? And it was like a flat-chested man.
I thought it was a woman, but I thought it just had man face.
I thought it was
it was basically a AAA gaming character.
But it's not. Allegedly, people think this is Harry Osborn. Now, I don't know the reality of it, so it's just rumor at this point. Your friendly neighborhood.
Hang on, just go up to the thumbnail real quick. So I just look. As an artist, there are just certain things that you kind of notice. And the thing that pisses me off about this image is the green colored fucking socks that are a slight shade darker than the pants and also shifted.
I didn't think he had socks on. I thought that was just, oh, he does.
He does.
Yeah. I'm colorblind, so I just...
This is peak lazy. This entire thing right here is the epitome of somebody who has never done more than mediocrity in their entire fucking life. This person has a job because they were pitied and they checked a fucking box. You look at artists, right? And when they create a full body character, if some jackass is putting the socks as the same color as their fucking tracksuit, that person needs to be terminated and barred from ever being able to create anything until they take the basics of character design. I'm sorry. I'm very angry by that.
I find it weird that you're more annoyed about the socks than like the multiple earrings, the hair, or whatever that left hand is doing.
I will excuse that because at this point they've infiltrated our hobbies, they've bastardized the IP, and they're going to turn everyone into black gay lesbians. Fine, whatever.
Whatever that hand is doing, you would have to snap every single finger to bend them in whatever position that is.
At least
what is that like position? Like
your fucking design.
The fingers are going sideways at the joint.
They don't have respect for their own shit, though. Fuck the hands. Hands are hard, all right? I get it. Whatever. Dumb fucks can't.
It shouldn't be hard for a professional artist.
Huh?
It shouldn't be hard for a professional artist. Like if you're doing like a hobby thing, fair enough. You can learn. True.
No, literally, it is. Go open up your favorite comic book, and you're gonna find all kinds of anatomy issues. Nobody gives a shit about that. It's the trust me. It's not if
it's not the
not if the content is good.
Exactly.
An artist should like. I'm not one of the people that's even like, oh, stylist. No, I think the most talented artists are the hyper realist ones. And you should be able to draw a hand which works like a hand.
Well, absolutely. I'm not denying that. Like, obviously, you should achieve for anatomical perfection and mimicry if you're trying to actually draw humans. But unfortunately, that's just not how it works. And then, of course, in the crunch world and things like that, there's going to be anatomy issues. Literally, some of the best fucking yaoi I read has them fucked up. Yaoi hands are a thing for a reason. All right, just calm down. Anyway, no. What we're looking at here and how we know
yaoi, the height of artistic talent,
is the socks. All right, it's the socks.
No, nobody cares about the socks. Like you could easily just recolor the socks.
But again, they were too lazy to do that. They gave this individual sat down and made the conscious choice to do green socks on a green outfit in this color scheme. Yes, and that is an abomination and lazy and bullshit.
Axel agrees with you for $2. Those green socks killed more people than sharks.
More people are dying in socks than sharks, man.
It's because you have to remember these people value going against any kind of trend or social norm. Being the weird freak is what they think is the benefit because they are weird freaks. And so they are turning deficiency into what everybody should be.
They're just being garbage. They're just being garbage. It's not even a weird freak shit anymore. It's just garbage. No. This is garbage. I'm sorry. This completely detracted from the actual.
It is a case of it is garbage, but this is what they think is good. This is what they want to value. This isn't a lack of. This is. They essentially think the peak of their talent is. They've turned their deficiency into a virtue, and so the peak of their talent is now what they've defined as good. This is why Russell T Davies used to be able to write, but now he can't.
They neutered Spider-Man also. That's the bottom side of a woman.
That is true. Yeah,
than a man. Usually.
He's actually straight up neutered right there. There's no outline for the way that the pants a man's pants would work. That's not.
Maybe he's Asian.
Was it
okay?
Dogma?
Stop the Asian hate.
Look, I've drawn plenty of Asian men. All right. I have many Asian man references in my naughty folder of art guides and references.
An Asian man would have an entirely different mask.
It's just this is wrong. Everything about this image is wrong, and I'm upset.
Well, the Mary Sue really liked this image, apparently, which makes so much sense because the title is Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Is it even out yet?
I think she went ultrasonic there.
Yeah, you just full on squeaked your way into a new language.
Yeah, that was so like there are dogs in China which are screaming.
People not hear that?
No,
all the restaurants have suddenly kicked off.
I mean, hey, the Spider-Man look, not a huge fan of, but this is also pre whatever he gets with the Osborne company. I'm not excited for this whatsoever.
Go back to where it said it's exhausting. This happens every. Yeah, this is it. This is exhausting to watch, and it happens every time a black person takes a role that was previously written as white. So what they're doing when they're saying that racists are complaining, they're going, people always complain every time we're massively racist and change the race of characters. Like, we hate that person, and we want to replace it with our preferred people. And then it's just so exhausting to hear you comment about how we can't do it. All we want to do is take the stories that you had before. Why won't you just it's so exhausting hearing you comment about how awful we are.
Can I say, I missed the time that we argued about Miles Morales as being Spider-Man at this point. Because I actually liked Miles Morales as Spider-Man.
Well, Miles Morales was a good Miles Morales. That's the quality
exactly. There. And in the multiverse of Spider-Man, he was a good Miles Morales Spider-Man. Okay?
He was the most
enjoyed his
Miles
movies.
Morales to have ever Miles Morales.
Yeah, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's not Spider-Man, and that's okay.
But even the rest of look what happened to Halle Bailey when she also took a role that she's not supposed to be doing. It's like, well, every time we do this and we ruin your properties, you complain, and I'm fed up of it.
I do not blame Halle Berry as someone who is of diverse. If I was told I could be the next Snow White and I was an actress, I'd be like, hell yeah, I'm gonna take the paycheck.
Yes, and then when people complained, that would still be your fault. Like, I understand wanting the money, but you should be like, look, I'm just doing it for a job. What, did you expect me to turn down work? But you should also be aware while you're doing it that all of the complaints against you are entirely justified and right. The problem that I have is where you do something you know you shouldn't and then don't like people complaining about it. Like, there are some, like, people that rob banks. They're not going to go, I couldn't believe what those banks said to me. They were like, I can't believe you've broken into the vault. Those that money was as much as mine as anybody else's. And it's like, no, at least criminals know what they're doing is criminal. And like, yeah, you probably complain, but I'm still going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe somebody sat down and wrote this because I hate this person at a spiritual level. Black people have been attacked for simply daring to be visible in popular franchises. Go to Canada.
There's no point
in Minecraft.
Canada. Do the honorable thing and go to Canada at this point, because holy fucking shit, for somebody to actually sit there and write that, they have so much hate in their heart.
But what I look at it is, if you're going to make IPs or whatever for persons of color that are not white, because obviously this is something that is a non-white factor, just make something about them for them. Like, that's why things like Lilo and Stitch were popular. Mulan was popular. Freaking, what was The Princess and the Frog was super popular, even though it was, probably a white character at first, because it was their own spin on it. And it was cool and it was fun and interesting and exciting. When you subvert a character because it is identity politics, it makes it like cheap.
This dumb motherfucker thinks that Morgan Freeman doesn't fill seats. This dumb motherfucker thinks Denzel Washington doesn't fill seats. This dumb piece of shit motherfucking leech to society who probably has fucking tax. I'm funding their existence, unfortunately, because Lord knows the Mary Sue isn't paying them a livable fucking wage. So they have to be fucking leeching off of somebody like me. They're going to sit there and say, oh, Will Smith didn't fill fucking seats. Fuck you.
It's
Just
not, no.
Fuck off.
The worst thing you can do with any of these people is believe what they say. They are saying what they need to win. And so what they are doing, they are using somebody.
I genuinely hope this person does not believe what they write, because if they do, they are an actual abomination to society.
You shouldn't believe it. It doesn't mean that they haven't put a lot of work into convincing themselves of something that they knew was true. We already know people can convince themselves of various different things, which are obviously anti-reality. And so if people get an advantage of things, they will spend a lot of cognitive effort, essentially, to convince themselves of something. Which is why they don't like being reminded of it by other people, because it reminds you of the lie that you told yourself to do something, and that shames you. But in this, they are using people as tools because they hate other people. This isn't about somebody taking a role. This is about who they're taking it from. Yep. This is literally about, we want this to happen because we don't like you.
Domination.
Like, they don't care. They don't care who replaces Spider-Man. Like, they could choose literally anyone on Earth. What they care about what Spider-Man is. And it is literally, it's the hatred. They will go, oh, we're just trying to help this person. They are trying to couch being good people while they do something horrific. They're using something to protect themselves where they're just horrible, disgusting filth. That's basically what it is.
The worst part is, like, we wouldn't care about subverting the actual character's background, because if you actually had an interesting story to tell, I wouldn't mind it. But they're using an original IP to tell their own version of a story that already exists. And then hoping it works.
I do think people used to be more lenient on this kind of thing. I don't think they would be now.
No, absolutely not.
everything is surrounded, everything is of like the time and the context it's made. So before, nobody knew what you were doing, and so they're like, no, that was a good character, fair enough. Now people are so sensitive to it because they've been pounded, it's been like done for years, they won't trust you. And so you don't deserve the benefit of the doubt, so they won't give you a chance. So what needs to happen is they need to roll everything back. They need to go back to basics, prove they can do everything as it's meant to be by the source material, and then maybe we'll eventually give you the benefit of the doubt to go, no, we just think this guy's better. But until you clear out every person that's doing this sort of stuff, nobody should. Like, nobody does and nobody should. They don't owe you anything.
And the crazy part is, so I'm listening to some podcasts where my favorite podcast, even before Christmas, and they were talking about how like Star Wars is dead. And I'm thinking, mainstream is talking about this? This is absolutely insane. I guess Trump was also voted, so that also might have been a little thing in that. But it'll be interesting in the next 4 years to see where entertainment lies, because will it move with the politics?
So it will, but there's always going to be a delay. You know, we're still going to have a couple more games come out from major studios because of they're already made, right? They're in their final productions. So the big shifts will happen as soon as DEI and ESG benefits come out of the government completely and stops being a benefit. And then as soon as Larry Fink also gets taken down because his ESG thing is just market manipulation. There's a new lawsuit that was announced over BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street that was started by the Texas AG that basically proves that they have evidence apparently with in relationship to energy companies and artificial inflation with coal. So once all of that changes and goes away, then every single company will drop it because it's not beneficial. They're only doing it for the benefits of taxes and with investors. So once that goes away, it'll go away. But we still have to get through the pipeline, and then we have to deal with the bullshit budgets. So we need to basically reteach companies how to fucking spend money, aka not fucking spend money. We don't need hyper realistic graphics.
But that's the crazy part is like you hire consultants to do this sort of stuff, but you don't want to hire consultants to save you money.
No, and that's because they're looking at it from a tax write-off standpoint. You can do so many shenanigans through our tax code because our tax code is a fucking nightmare. There is a reason why even someone like me pays, $1,000 or whatever for somebody else to fucking deal with it. I can only imagine what major companies are doing. And that's disgusting. And our politicians have created an environment through the rules and regulations that discourages the competition. And then our tax code is a nightmare, and people literally get rich off of working for, a couple months throughout the year on other people's taxes.
I think the problem that the theory has is it assumes that everyone is a rational being, which makes perfect decisions all the time. And what you're essentially going off is kind of the idea of capitalism, that businesses actually exist to make money. And this is only true if all the people in that company are capitalists. If they don't like profit, if they don't agree with capitalism in the first place, they don't really care about money. They care more about themselves. And I think what these companies have done, I think it's so damaging DI positions that now you have filled your company from top to bottom with incompetent people who don't know anything about this stuff, they don't believe this stuff, and they are all ideologues. And I don't think the people exist to make the corrections. I don't think they're competent enough to know that they're the problem and they need to go. And so they may swap people around on the bottom, but I'm not sure they even know what a good story is. And this goes to even people that did. Like Russell T. Davies now thinks that Star Trek Discovery is a great series. He thinks what he's writing is, he's not making bad stuff deliberately. This is what he thinks is a quality product. And he was capable of it before and he's not now. So his idea of what quality is has changed over time as the ideas have changed and people convince themselves of new ideas. And so I'm not sure they have the ability to change without bringing in essentially people outside of Hollywood. They could bring back people that used to be there when it was quality. And so they'd be like, no, you just need to fire all these people. They're all awful. But I don't think the people inside Hollywood can fix it. Gaming, I think, is different simply because when Concord failed, the company shut down. Whereas when Warner Brothers fails, they just make another movie.
Yeah, and so that just stems back to everything in life is a cycle. Hollywood will be a cycle. Obviously, we haven't gotten to experience entertainment cycles on this grand of a scale just because it's still so new technically in our history. So everything will collapse because that's just the only way. All empires collapse and something new is built in its place. So, you know, the stuff that's going on right now, the Pal World, for instance, if they keep making their game, then 20 years from now, they'll be considered basically, you know, Pokemon because it took a long time for them to rise up to be the titan that they are. So, you know, it's indie right now is preparing to be the takeover. We're going to get a new Disney. We're going to get new, you know, Miyazaki's eventually. We're going to get new great people who tell the stories that we want because the stuff that we did want has been outlawed for some reason by the left, and now the left has fallen and blah blah blah. It's just a giant cycle, and it's annoying. It's a time waste, and that's why the regulations just got to go.
This is why when people are like Hollywood will turn itself around, it's like even if they want to, I don't think they know how to. But I think also people do act as if it's got an infinite amount of time to. Not even from just a money perspective, but it's like, no, Korea is coming for your lunch. China is coming for like Marvel Rivals. What was it? Marvel Rivals and Path of Exile. Path of Exile is entirely owned by a Chinese company. Marvel Rivals was a game came out at the same time, also a complete Chinese company. If you don't make something, other countries will, and they will just own the market. So it's not just a case of, oh, well, maybe if you gave them 20 years, they'd be able to work out how to make good. No, they have to do it now. They don't have 4 years to piss about because other countries didn't have that issue in the first place.
Yeah, that's why we really need to get rid of the regulation side of it. Like the UK, I think honestly, that's ground zero for a lot of it spreading with the companies. The more I look at Uki, I'll have a big write up on that. That's going to be super dry. But basically, it is this part of their governance body that goes and talks to the politicians on behalf of the gaming industry, but they make people sign with them. They make companies sign with them. So everybody's got, you know, a UK location for an office for some of the big brands. And on top of that, Uki also has a DEI pledge system. The guy in charge of Uki's DEI shit is somebody who works for a different company as well. And he installs C-suite level individuals into those companies. And they do it throughout all of media. And it's this one guy who's got his own lame ass quote plastered on both their website and the Games for Change pledge shit or whatever the hell it is. But it all stems from Uki, and they've got this DEI thing and all this shit, and it's just it's disgusting.
The issue that you have is this is an American ideology, but other nations have their own strengths, and the English have always been very competent at things, and we don't have the freedom attitude that America has. And so ours is more like, you can do whatever you want, as long as you do it behind closed doors. But in public, there is a way that you should act. There is a correct way to behave. And so if you export an ideology like this, which says this is how you should be, you will have people in the UK that just take that on board, and then it is literally their new culture. This, like anything else across this is wrong, and they have no problem with censorship or force.
Yeah.
Because this is the way you should behave in public. So behind closed doors, fine, but you should know better than to behave differently in public. And so you will end up creating your own kind of zealots in other countries that will do your ideology better than you do. And so, yeah, especially with things like Tony Blair and everything that he's capable of, you don't want to give other countries ideas because their culture may make yours even more extreme than it is.
Especially Japan, when you think it's such a suppressed country, and they're
no, I like Japan. I think Japan is the right kind of thing. I think the English and the Japanese could probably live together and not really get on particularly well.
In general are like that, though.
I don't think there's many countries in the world that could move to Japan and be like, not destroy their culture.
Oh, like vice versa.
Yeah, well, because the English, like I say, if they will just take on the correct way of being, the cultural rules. Whereas I think if an American moves to Japan, they're more likely to be like, no, I'll do whatever I want. Like, no, that's entirely opposite to the country.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But I like the whole, a culture should be a thing, it should be a specific thing, and everyone should obey that culture. And then basically, you go to where you like the most.
Exactly.
I don't know why somebody that doesn't want to act like a Japanese person would be in Japan. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Before Savvy goes, because I know Savvy has to leave at some point here. Nightmare for $2 says, base Savvy taxation is theft anyway. Thank you so much.
I actually think it's worse than theft. It's armed robbery. Everything the government does is at the end of the barrel of a gun.
And they like tax anytime money is exchanged. I think it's disgusting. So they tax you on your income. They tax you when you buy stuff. They tax you when you gift stuff. Inheritance tax. Like what the heck?
That's my favorite inheritance tax because you've been taxed on it when you were alive. Then you die. You pass it on to your family. And then they tax it again. It's like, wait. Yeah, you have to sell what your family earned in order to pay off the taxes for what they save for you.
It's so stupid. Savvy's bush burned so brightly that his guided camera senses spoke to Moses back in the day. Her fire continues to inspire the future to this day. Thank you, Master Gawa, for $5. Wow, I can't believe I said that. Axel Jessen for $5. Savvy just hates socks because if the sock stays on, it's not gay.
That is not true. I am obsessed with orange socks. You stop that.
In coupling, they do talk about the sock gap, which is there is a correct time to take your socks off. It is before. It is after your shoes, but before your trousers. If you do not do that, suddenly you end up as a naked man in socks, and no self-respecting person will ever get with a naked person in socks.
I read a study that if you keep socks on during coitus, that it actually enhances it. So I don't know if people do that.
I think that was just a
my
degenerate
husband's right here. Otherwise, I'd tell a story.
Hi, husband.
Everyone's saying, yeah, don't look at me. We're talking about the socks.
I like that that's all you have to do for him to know the exact story. He's like, oh, Elon, not the socks again.
Oh, no. Ed Song for 5 says, Savvy, you realize Extra Girl's trying to get to her maid quota. It's easiest to get sales from friends and family if they're easiest to get. No, there is no quota whatsoever.
Yeah. They get a commission.
Tax bonuses.
I mean, if it did equate to tax bonuses, I would be doing more of it, but it does not. Okay.
That's
Trudeau didn't let me. Thank you so much, Ed Song. And did I get everything?
Like multi-level marketing. Like I've got a great presentation for you.
Yeah, the fifth one's free.
It's a deal. Okay, BOGO!
Girls' night!
As his wonky eyebrow for £2 stop hiding that pretty smile, Savvy. Oh, it's a very Asian laugh. I think that has everything to do with all the Savvy. Savvy's bean. Thank you for the $2. That's it. I had to bring it up. It says Savvy in it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the bean is also another funny one. Yeah.
But would you rather
obviously the bean has to follow you to a different stream. It'd be weird if you were separated.
You're just so loved that you have alt accounts.
Yeah, can you imagine if all of these were actually just Savvy? And she's like, I'm going to make one called Savvy's Bean.
It's going to be so funny.
This is why she got so many monitors. There's like just different accounts on them all. It's like, you'll never know the story about Savvy's bush.
It's a giant psyops. I actually
go on, tell them the sock story.
I actually kind of want to know now, but like, is your husband still in the room?
No, he's gone. So.
Yeah, he's eating like a taco in the toilet or something.
Can you talk about your sock story?
So I think it was only like the third time that I had come over and we were just getting to do our taxes together.
Squelchy.
No.
That's the way. That's what coupling calls it. You know, let's get squelchy.
That's even worse.
No, what's worse before it is where she's in the shower and he pulls open her bedside table drawer and it's just the image of him and he's just pulling this drawer and it's getting longer and longer and he's getting more and more distraught as he goes across the room and oh my god.
Oh my god. So what was it? I think it was nighttime. He was getting ready for bed. I was staying the night and he took off his clothes but he kept the socks on. And I wasn't really paying attention.
All clothes.
Yeah. You should have dumped him right there, to be fair.
He's just in the socks. And then, I tackle him to the bed and do my cute little stupid oo-woo noises. And that begins, of course, the taxation ritual. And then halfway through, I turn around.
How you pay your taxes?
Hey,
the accountancy fees are really cheap for me.
Floor taco tax.
I'm trying to use friendly words. God damn it. So I turn around and I'm like, motherfucker, you've still got your socks on. And he goes, don't talk about that right now for obvious reasons. And so afterwards, I say, so when do the socks come off or do they always stay on? And he goes, this is the first time I've left them on. It'll be the last time, I guess. And I said, no, keep them on. They look quite nice. So now
you have to train him to take them off.
So now sometimes he'll leave the socks on just for giggles, just for that day, because it was so weird. But
that is fun, and I love it. And
you know what he should have done? He should have done like people do with shades, where they're like, "Can you just take your shades off?" And they take them off, and it's just another pair of shades. There's just socks all the way down.
That would be good. If I'm sure if he could actually find socks that fit him, he'd probably do stuff like that.
What size feet does he have?
Can you not have?
Oh God, 16 or 17? He's 6'9".
I'm sorry.
He's 6'9".
Christ, I'm surprised he has doors that fit him.
He doesn't.
Oh.
Does he have to duck everywhere? Like,
does he walk around with a helmet on? It's like I would just smash my face into random things.
I think your couple name should be his name is Duck and your goose. That's adorable.
That's actually really cute.
It's a little too innocent for what we've talked about all night, but
I'm only 6 foot, and even I get like being in a car, your head like hits the top of the car.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine being 6'9". Like I don't.
Like
that in a car at all times.
So when it comes to vehicles, I don't give a shit what he buys, but I said you have to fit in it. And he looked at me. And he was so angry.
You'd be like 4x4, surely. That might be the only thing.
I dated a guy who was 6'3", and it was very tough because he obviously didn't fit in a lot of vehicles.
Yeah.
So it had to be an SUV.
So I got him to test drive a truck. And it was the first time he'd ever done it in his life. And he's like, wow, I can spread my legs in this. Wow, I can sit up straight. And I'm like, you're welcome. So he bought it that day.
Mm-hmm.
That's all a 6'9" guy needs is to be able to spread.
He needs a really big truck.
It's just permission to buy a truck.
He's a simple man.
Men are, in general. Like, very small things to just take pleasure from. Very basic stuff.
You know what? As someone who is an abnormal size, it is something to take pleasure in because I went shopping and I can't wear a lot of things that are mainstream because of my body size. Yeah.
Wait, how tall are you?
No, my boobs.
Oh. So you're a small, but you have like a large. You'd be
Takes a little too for Mark.
Small.
So I will wear a strapless top, and it looks so awful.
I don't miss those days at all. That's why I like having. It doesn't look awful. Titties.
It's awful for me. It's great for other men. I understand.
I find it weird that your clothing doesn't account for that.
No, because if you go to things like H&M, they're for some itty bitty titty committee. Like you can't wear it because it doesn't structure for your breasts.
Yeah.
No, but I hear other people all the time. It's like, no, I can't wear that dress because I can't fill it out. So I always assume there were like two different versions, like where they would have make clothes for potentially both.
Some dresses benefit from being tight, but still to fill them out and look good. So like you want to stretch the fabric. Some fabrics look good like that. Like to wear a strapless thing, you kind of have to have bigger boobs. But sometimes it doesn't look right if the fabric, then if you try to buy the size to accommodate.
Like say like the boobs are structured and it's like hemmed into the actual dress. Yeah. It doesn't look right when your boobs fill it out too much. And then you're like, okay, like say this is my top and then the boob cup is here. Like that's not going to look weird because it's not at the bottom.
So your problem is that you could buy a bigger size, but then it wouldn't be loose everywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you want it to fit here, everywhere,
but loose everywhere else. And
right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, because guys, if it's not figure hugging, doesn't matter. So you just buy the bigger thing. My t-shirt's baggy. What a problem.
It's normal, but then that can cause malfunctions if it's big in other places. Like it could cause everything to just fall.
Also, strapless tops I don't wear anymore for reasons.
Nope.
Nor do I, to be fair.
Hey, hashtag twinning.
Yeah, twinning. You go, girl.
Before Savvy leaves, Axel Jessen for $2 says Savvy salad has 3 beans. I don't know what he means by that.
I don't know what that means either.
It'd be like the Trinity glittery.
This sounds like a really weird hentai plot. The Trinity.
I mean, look, it's probably going to be in the next series of what's her name? That Star Wars.
In the name of the mother, the aunt, and the holy stepsister.
I saw there was a random picture on Twitter. It was like someone squatting over just in like the middle of the road, and someone said, "What's she doing?" I can't remember who it was. Someone replied, "There's an invisible washing machine." Was the extra has no idea what was said.
No, I
She was like, no, I just started texting people.
I was like, I have no idea. Like, I probably never watched this IP, and that's okay. And yeah. Anyways,
I can't remember what it is.
It doesn't exist yet.
Oh, it should though. Like I was thinking the Star Wars show. I can't remember who it is. The woman that went to a different universe. Like she had a best friend that traveled to a different galaxy to tell a guy he was friend zoned. Why? That literally, she was like, "No, I must go and see him again. I haven't seen him in so many years." She went over there and went, "I think we should just be friends." I'm like, wait, what?
Oh, damn. Axel Jassen for 2 says Savvy's husband would make a Miata look like a toy. I don't know what a Miata is. Is that a car?
Probably.
I don't know.
I don't know about cars.
I think I've told this story. I was been to a place in England where I don't know what happened. Maybe like 200 years ago, some giant just got with every woman in the village. But it's the only place I've ever felt short. At 6 foot, it's like I'm generally at least average. Whereas in this, everyone towered over me. All the blokes were just really tall.
Which one? Sorry, where? Sorry?
Well, I'm not going to say where.
Oh,
but it was a place in England. But yeah, it's like every guy was massive. Like,
so
what do they feed you around here?
I've had Serbian friends, and they're probably one of the tallest people, and not just like men, but women too. They're like 5'11", like 6 feet tall. And I just stand there being like, I can't believe you all are this tall. I feel so short. But I wear my like 6-inch heels, and it's still not enough.
Oh, that's my favorite. My heels don't do shit. And then my husband's mom though is also tall like that. She's 6'2", 6'1".
Oh damn!
Oh, well, that explains him then.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming his father was also tall, and so it was basically inevitable.
Yeah, all of his family is very tall and very big, and
yeah,
I'm very
They've been bred
small.
that way.
You are the smallest of the family then?
Oh yeah, I'm the smallest of all my family actually.
All your family?
All of them. The Polish family is very well fed.
You know what? Polish people are very tall too.
They can be. They can be. I'd say
like taller
the
than
I don't think it's what they're
men
known
are all
for.
pretty tall.
It's more a Scandinavian thing, I think.
Yeah.
Like the height in Poland.
Come to Canada, say we can go to P Mall.
Yeah.
You can park your husbands in like a gaming corner somewhere.
Honestly, I think P Mall would have that.
both of them would be like, "Don't worry, we won't be long." They'll be like, "We don't care."
They had an entertainment area and like they've added like that food court area now.
The food court is my favorite part because I love food. But yeah.
That's where we're gonna be.
We'll be
There's
over
no
there.
chairs, there's just floor.
I'm fine with that.
I expect you to eat off the floor. Sorry. I'm kidding. Savvy, where can people find you and all the good stuff and what to expect from you?
Oh God. Don't know about good stuff. You can find me on YouTube at MadamSavvy. It's very easy. I do have a couple of scripts that I'm gonna film this week, hopefully, as soon as I feel better. Otherwise, I'm gonna try to post some more art on Twitter, and there'll be some more screeching at the sky for censorship and saying Visa is a terrible company, and that's it. I'm really bad at pitching myself.
Go follow MadamSavvy. She's hilarious. I love it. She talks about floor tacos, which is better than floor pizza. And yeah.
And toilet grilled cheese sandwiches.
No, that's Kersha.
No, that's me. I was the one eating.
Oh, never mind. I take it back. I'm sorry. I was trying to save you.
I'll leave. Goodbye.
Oh well. But I honestly, like, I'm so sad I missed the last time you're on. This has been so fun because obviously on F&T we don't talk as much.
Yeah, bigger panel is harder.
It's like fighting. Absolutely fighting. And thank you for having for coming on here. And yes, link at least on this stream will hopefully be in the description eventually. I don't have hold over this channel.
It's okay.
But follow MadamSavvy on Twitter, YouTube. Are you anywhere else besides that?
Yeah, but that's the only places that I post because I'm lazy.
Yes. And yes, I'm drunk. Okay, Tiger King. And then yes, you can follow her shenanigans. You rest well. Thank you for being on. And I can't wait for you to be back on.
Yay! See you soon.
Bye, Savvy.
Bye.
And we are going to catch up on some super chats while we have the time. We have Psychotic Mongoose gifting a Wicked Virtue membership. Thank you so much. Axel Jessen for $5 says Beardo eats on the toilet. That's where he gets poop cookies. Well, that's awkward. I don't want to eat poop cookies, so Beardo is never cooking for me. Ed Song for $5 says Disbrew. Oh, you know what? I'm going to wait for him to be back for this. Pelicans for $5 says the expired oatmeal is what started the zombie apocalypse. And if you weren't here for this, I was talking about how a lot of family members in my family specifically love hoarding. And my mother put oatmeal, stacks and stacks and stacks of expired oatmeal in my freezer, and it is absolutely atrocious and I don't love it. But we'll go back to this. Ed Song for $5 Disbrew. Women don't fart. The waste just magically disappears when they go to the bathroom. There isn't even a toilet in women's bathrooms.
Is that when they go to the toilet together because they like to
do makeup?
No, it's like, oh no, you're not going to waste that, are you?
Graph Web for $2 says for F's sake, cancel Disney Plus. When I stop having nieces and nephews, I will. I promise.
I think canceling Disney Plus is one of the easiest things. It doesn't even have anything on it I really ever want.
Well, that's the hard part. Is there are some kids stuff that are really entertaining for that youth age that is hard to take away from them if you want them to watch that sort of media.
I was going to say, I'm not sure if I was a parent I'd want them watching Disney Plus. I mean, older stuff. But even then, I think it auto plays. And so I wouldn't want it randomly going onto a new show. I would probably...
Like YouTube?
Well, yes, but I think Disney Plus is worse because you know what's on it. Like, YouTube could go to anything. It could be positive or negative. Disney is probably going to go to something worse. So I'd probably curate manually like what they had, and then when it stopped, I'd want to know what the next thing was, rather than just giving them access to Disney Plus. Like, I think Shad watches all the stuff before his kids does, that kind of thing.
I think Shad also does a lot of physical media, right? From my conversations with him.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean by curate it manually. It's like, you know what the older stuff is, rather than just, you know, giving them a Disney Plus account and they watch anything on it they want. I'd be like, no.
Pelicans for $5 says, can you make poop cookies in a crockpot? I don't know. You might have to ask.
Well, they did say anything tastes delicious, that you can put anything in it, they said.
Oh, that's true. Darth Gavel for $2 says, X-Ray, Wicked is here. She did pop in, and that was kind of fun. And did feel like...
She didn't just pop in. She literally destroyed the stream. Literally. That stream is no more.
That is true.
We
She
got yeeted.
literally yeeted it into oblivion, and we're like, oh no, because I had just put like the outro intro, and as soon as it started playing, I was like, F. I think StreamYards needs to put a little like something that will prevent it from happening.
You would think
Like,
there'd
if
be a
you say-
cancel button.
Like a cancel would be great because it would have been nice to cancel it. Like we were so close. We had 20 seconds to cancel it, but it's fine. Master Gawa for $2 says Savvy knows about the internally cooked meat and fire. Well, she's not here anymore, so she doesn't know. Jason JJJ for 5 says hashtag breaking. Emergency crews are on the scene after a tanker hauling thousands of gallons of liquid chocolate overturned in Tennessee. Jokes begin now. Is this actually true?
I don't know, but like Willy Wonka would have invented one that didn't spill it out if it crashed. Like
That's
if
true.
Willy Wonka did build the Snowpiercer train that could survive the apocalypse, you could definitely build it like a tanker that doesn't spill.
I would love that. Axel Jessen for 2 says Extra Girl is a Vosh fan. I don't know who Vosh is, so I guess
You
I'm
don't
not a
want
fan.
to. That is the he has a thing for horses, and that's not me making it up. His adult folder got leaked. Well, I say he got leaked. He leaked it himself accidentally. And there was horse stuff in it.
No, and not just Mr. Hands.
I'm pretty sure in his Discord he talks about it all the time anyway. But no one was sure if he was joking.
And now
what you're
he's
joking
actually
about.
serious.
And then it literally came up, and he just came out and admitted it. And this
That's
is one of the
disgusting.
things. It was a bit like when all the Destiny videos came out, and everyone was just it's like, everyone knew that about him anyway, so it didn't really affect him in any way. The same with Vosh. When it came out that he liked horses, everyone already.
It's not a surprise. It's not a
Yeah.
surprise.
Yep.
Axel Jessen for another $2 says, son of a beach, Mike. Now I got to pay the tax. I don't know which tax you're talking about, but I'm sure the Biden government, because obviously he's still in power, would totally love it.
Well, Mike was also on those Halo streams with the Paint Your Wife White videos. Mike knows. If it was in relation to the beta thing. It's the only thing I think was a Mike tax. Oh no, the Mike tax. Yeah, Mike charging people to watch the streams. I get it. People keep saying he's stolen their dogs, and I say he sells them to you.
That's me. See? We have the same
They're like,
wavelength.
can you get my dog back from Mike? I'm like, no, it's gone to X-ray. It's gone.
I've already eaten it.
You need to move on.
And Métis for 5 says, happy Saucy Saturday. Happy Saucy Saturday to you. And I've at least caught up on the super chats on that side. We also have Ian So Forth for 50 British pounds. Excuse me. Says, how much do I need to super chat for Disbrew to not mention coupling for the whole of 2025?
Too much. It's one of the best comedies ever. Too much. It's one of the best comedies ever
You
made.
have to actually give a figure at this point. Because he asked.
Like, too much. Like, I'm not going to stop talking about coupling. It's one of the best comedies ever made. It's also a great reference point with a lot of great quotes about stuff. It's because it's a... what's it called? It's a time capsule of the 90s. And so it's a good example of what things used to be compared to what things are now. And I think those kind of remember... Because people have short memories, and so they don't actually remember what the 90s was like. So stuff like that is useful to refer to.
I need to watch this. Where can I watch this? As a Canadian?
I can help you with that afterwards.
Okay, thank you.
I can solve that problem. Yep.
I love a good math equation. That's how I get A's. Okay, so since we have
You know what the weirdest videos I've ever seen were? I don't know, I think it's the Chinese ones, where they're doing an abacus. They teach them how to use an abacus in the air without an abacus. And so you see them doing all the math equations by like literally moving things in the air. The strangest way to do maths, but apparently they can do really complex stuff. Wild.
I've never used an abacus, so I actually have no idea how that works. Do you even know how an abacus works?
It's basically rows with like little discs on, and as you move it across, it's like I think I'm not exactly sure, but things like one's 100, one's 10, one's 5, etc. And so you can, by the amount of things on one side compared to the other, you keep track of the numbers. So as you're working it out, it like tracks all the equations. I think that's something like that. I've never been taught on it. But they essentially visualize an abacus in their brain and remember where all the discs are. And that's how they work it out. So they don't use calculators because they can.
Because I've been trying to learn how people do like mental math and memorization, and it's actually quite interesting. And I won't explain it, but there's videos I watch where, like, it's the association of 2s and 3s, whatever that means. You'll have to find out. So before we go, seeing as we're 2.5 hours in, we're finally getting to our second topic. Disbrew, have you seen the stuff about the Cybertruck at Trump Tower in Vegas?
Yes, very strange.
Honestly, I thought this was one of the craziest things because at first I thought, okay, is there an association with Nora Lynn's and what happened with the rented vehicle over there? But apparently it's not.
Ryan was right yesterday when he said there's so much information you don't know what's true and what's not. So
absolutely,
there is weird things though. For instance, they said the body was burned to the point where it was unidentifiable. But then
he identified them, or they identified him.
There was an ID that wasn't burned, and like, okay, maybe one thing. Then I saw a police, and this is why, there's lots of information, but this is literally from the sheriff reporting it. I've seen the video of the sheriff reporting it, and he said there were 2 letters that they found, which was on an app, a notepad app. And you're like, okay. And then he read one out, and it was one thing, and then he read a second one out, and he said, this one is dated post-event, or something like that. And I'm like, sorry, you didn't survive the event. How do you have a notepad that was dated post?
Didn't. Okay, so before you even get there, there was a video about an email that was sent predated, I guess you can call it that.
See, no, I'm not even. This is why with the email and stuff, I'm not sure what's legitimate and what's not. So that video about the notepad is where I'm like, it came from the sheriff's department, so it's an official source.
No, but this is an email. This happened on the Sean Ryan podcast.
Yeah, but I don't know. I can't say for the legitimacy of that. Whereas at least the sheriff's they were like, well, this is an official thing, so this is the story they want to put out. This is what they're saying is true.
And that's the
I don't know anything about an email from a random podcast.
There's so many conflicting details about this specific interaction because 1, we got Trump. 2, we got Elon. 2 insanely huge figureheads. Also, Elon saved lives with the design of his truck.
Well, it's made out of steel. So yeah, it went out the weakest point, which was the roof.
So, did you watch the video of it exploding? Because there was a woman that was right by it with her luggage. She should have probably passed away.
The glass doors on the hotel didn't shatter. The weird thing about that video as well is the fire first comes out the driver's side, not the back, where all the stuff was.
Mm-hmm.
Bit weird. There's a lot of weird details, but still, it's the sheriff's video is still the strangest for me. Because they say it was dated post the event.
But either way, like this whole thing just reeks just conspiracies. A lot of people are going to be wondering. I don't trust the government. I don't trust the government in general. But I've become such a skeptic at this point. I don't trust officials. And it worries me in that sense because it's like, who do I trust then? How do I trust someone? What things must a person do for me to trust what they say?
But I don't think you need to. I don't think you need to really trust any. Like, there are some things in life which, with anybody, you can just accept because if they're lying to you, it's not a big deal. There are some people who lie to you about minor things, and you just let it go, even if you know they're lying, because it doesn't really impact anything. So if someone's like, yeah, I just got 15 kills in that game, you're like, no way you got 50. But you just let them get away with it anyway. And so that kind of stuff. There's other things where if somebody tells you something, you can verify it. And so if somebody tells you something and you're like, no, I'll just check if that's true. If it's True, fair enough. And over time, you just learn who's reliable and who lets you down. And so I just see it more as like a cost benefit analysis kind of thing. It's a risk factor. Some people are less trustworthy than others, and some people they've always been correct before, and so next time they'll probably be correct again, and you can give them more value. Whereas if someone always lets you down, why would you trust them on the next thing they say?
That is just one thing I learned in a lot of relationships, not just like dating, but family and friends, is actions speak louder than words. That is such a never phrase.
Yeah, someone says anything, it means nothing.
Listen
always
to
go
them.
off behavior.
See what they do, see what they like actually portray, and then you can actually see what type of person they are. And that's what we're seeing with a lot of stuff, not only friends and family, but government officials. It's insane. And I have never been such a skeptic until since 2020, when I was introduced to YouTube and the streaming that YouTube had. And I don't want to be like that. I am an inherently trusting person, but I have trusted way too much at this point.
There's nothing wrong with being a trusting person. The problem is trusting
the
unknowns.
Wrong persons.
Well, yeah, it's like you can curate your life and the people around you to the point where you can trust those. And I don't actually think that. I think one of the issues that we have in modernity is basically scale. We evolved for something to be on a small scale. So you had your family, then you might have a small village, and that was about it. Anyone else is an unknown you probably shouldn't trust. Whereas on the internet especially, we're connected to the entire world. And so any kind of the value systems we built up that were meant for a small village don't necessarily work when scaled up to such a huge thing. Maybe some of your instincts do only work on like a home with your family. And you shouldn't like that. Trusting your family is probably a good idea. Trusting your husband is probably a good idea. That doesn't, and so that can lead you to evolve like a trusting instinct. Doesn't mean it's good to trust somebody from the other side of the world kind of thing that you don't know. And so I'm kind of for curating people close to you and keeping that scale rather than scaling it out.
And I would rather deal with a smaller number because it's within my what's the word, control, than a wider gap of people where it's a crazy crowd and you can't control it and then you feel overwhelmed. So I'd rather have close friends that I trust than a bigger group of friends that I'm like, I don't know how I am with you.
Wait, I actually don't think you can care about that many people. I think once you get past a certain point, you can't care. Like, this is why when people there's a hurricane in a random country on the other side of it, I physically can't care about. Like, it's too removed from me. If there was one that went down the street, sure. But once you get past a certain distance, I'm like, it becomes too abstract for me to actually apply any kind of empathy to. I've never been like that, and I know other people are. And famous graph, if you're aware of it, there are other people the other way around. They care more about people distant to them than close to them. That tends to lead to the most horrific outcomes.
I think there's a sign of proper concentration, where if you care about, as you say, the people who are closer to you, and meaning like family, friends, et cetera, and what they say about you versus like the internet warriors where they're worried about how those people perceive them.
Oh, man.
Then you'll see the mental illness between those two entities.
I get messages like, this guy made a video about you. It's like, eh. So I don't know who that guy is. It's like, I don't know anything about them, so they could just be wrong on everything. I have to kind of respect somebody before I start caring about their opinion. It's why when you get like hate mail, it's like, I don't even know who you are. It's like, I'm surprised that you care that much about me in the first place to send me a message about it, because you don't know who I am either. So I always found it a bit strange, any of that kind of thing. I would rather care more about a few people than a little about a lot of people.
People think that, and I see it all the time, even before I came on the internet, when all these people say all these little things, peripheral things about you. You're a whore, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about things that maybe I've been through.
I've been through many a whore.
I've been through many people calling me a whore. Anyways, but like at least that one, I remember that specifically sticking out to me and being like, not what are you talking about? And you know, that person wasn't anything that mattered to me. The reason that they said that was because I was dating a person that they liked.
Low hanging
fruit. Me a whore.
Whenever you use an insult, you try and find a pressure point. And so if you don't know a pressure point, you use a generic one. Or quite often something that you care about, which is why I tend to insult people based off intelligence. Whereas other people would insult them based off the obvious thing about them. And it's like, they probably care about that. It's like, oh, do you know that though?
Yeah. And it's quite interesting to see what people care about. And it sucks that we're based on this now. But I think especially with the internet, it exacerbated it. And I kind of like finding out who my real friends are. And I found a lot of, at least, especially within this culture business, there's a lot of great people.
I don't think like I say, I don't think humans are designed to be around that many people. Even with like YouTube comments and stuff, I don't think humans are designed to be like have thousands of opinions thrown at them about you in particular. You're used to being in a small village. This is why people, if you can get town compliments and the insult is what you remember, because if you're in a small village, that insult matters. That could be a sign of the rest of the small village. Yeah, and if you got like excommunicated from that village, you died, and so you had to keep everybody in that village on side. So one person not liking you was a major deal. But once you scale that out to people on the other side of the world, or thousands of people in a city,
it matters
it becomes
not.
irrelevant. Yes, but we haven't evolved the impulses to cope with our new situation yet. We're still dealing off software that evolved over millennia on such a small scale.
Like social media has only been like Facebook or was around when 2000 around 20 years.
This is why when I say things like people can put a lot of mental effort into convincing themselves of the dominant ideology, what I think is a far better use of your time is to overcome your instincts by putting in the mental effort to come up with new coping strategies for your new environment. So you take the instincts that work and get rid of the ones that don't. And I think this is why when people like, no, I'm pro-tradition, it's like, I think the aims of the tradition are good. I think what it's aiming for is good, but it just doesn't work in the modern scenario. And so you have to try and work out how to get those same outcomes in the modern situation, which means you have to act differently. And that requires you to consciously think about it. Yeah.
As long as you can take control of what you receive and compartmentalize what each person says to what matters to you most. Because in the end, at least for me, I think about what does my parents, brother, cousins say about me? Because that to me means more than what Twitter says.
Yeah, especially with Twitter. You never know whether it's a bot or not at this stage.
It's even.
Have you seen what Facebook are doing? They are showcasing AI profiles on Facebook, and at the moment they're marked. But if you can make a profile run by AI, what's the purpose of that?
What's the point? I thought that was like an OF thing.
Well, yes, and apparently some of them do really well, but the only reason I can think you would want to do it on social media is to basically influence public opinion. Like you want people who are undetected to go in and basically make it appear to people that everybody disagrees with them to kind of push them towards what you want, and like nudge them in a certain direction.
I guess it's better than the as we were talking about yesterday on FNT, the celebrity and how they don't care about how celebrities view politicians and political speak. I could see an AI Instagram account having more influence than frickin' Taylor Swift. Unfortunately.
Yeah, but I'm actually not sure there's much of a difference, because if you're bought and paid for anyway, you're basically this is why the NPC meme caught on so well because it was true. It was literally a load of people that just do as they're told. They just get the next download of the next acceptable opinion and go on with it. So I'm not sure whether it really matters whether it's a celebrity that gets told what to say or just goes along with Hollywood or an AI doing it. I think that's the same thing.
As long as the AI is an influencer that is not an actor, singer, exec.
Well, you wouldn't know. Like, in the future, you won't be able to tell the difference between an AI and a celebrity.
No. But at least as of now, I would trust and this is an extreme example, I would trust a Betty Johnson over a Taylor Swift.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, his career, one of the things about people like that is you get that position because all of your viewers communally voted that they wanted to watch you. So they're spending their time as their vote that you should be the person there. And so you don't get that with celebrities which are picked.
Taylor Swift.
Well, Taylor Swift at least is popular, right? People go and see her. Whereas you get like Rachel Zegler, who can't get, like, she got $28 in a cinema. The reason she's in a movie is because somebody chose from the top down for her to be in that movie. Like, it's not the audience that voted for her to be in that movie at all. And so they get chosen to be the Hollywood celebrities. Whereas at least Taylor Swift actually sells records.
That is
People
true.
go to her,
She is
like,
the highest paid recording artist, I'm sure, at this point.
Yes.
Unfortunately, which is really sad. I actually did like her early stuff when it was more country, and yeah, it is what it is.
I generally think it's just because she's unthreatening. It makes people feel like they could be her because she's also
plain.
I think if she was like a stunning 10, then she wouldn't be as successful. Because when she sings about like the destruction of her relationships and stuff and how miserable she is, they're just like, oh, she's just like me for reals, and so they relate to her. Whereas if her life, this is why I found it interesting when people were like, oh, she's faking the relationship with somebody. Like, well, actually, if you think about it, you probably would, because you would want simultaneously to have a happy relationship, but you need to sing about all of your breakups because that's what your audience is going through. And so you would have a public relationship to destroy. Yeah. You would need a fake relationship to destroy in order to sing about it in the future. Yeah. While you kept your good one to the side.
If I were her, I would keep it under wraps and not even talk about it. But that's me.
Yes, but she also needs somebody to be with publicly that she can publicly break up with to sell the next album.
For her next album. Absolutely.
Because her fans, there's a lot of them, it's like, it really means something to me, and it is more like, she's as miserable as I am. It's like, it's literally misery loves company.
Hey, she's speaking to her audience. So she's doing something right, obviously, because her Eras tour is doing more well than any other tour that's existed.
Oh, yeah, well, from a profitability perspective, yes, she's doing something right, but I think she's only doing something right because culture is doing something very wrong. I think that's the point.
And she's taking advantage of it.
I don't even really have a problem with that. I have a problem with the fact that nobody else sees it as a problem that this is successful, that kind of thing is successful. That's a sign that something has gone horribly wrong for all of these people. And yet people are like, no, we just need to continue progressing in that way. I'm like, have you seen what it's doing to people? I actually think that's a sign we should be going the other way.
I hate these Savvy accounts, by the way. Savvy the Kiwi and Lemon Skin Eater for $1.99. Y'all
I have seen her bite into it. Well, I've seen the aftermath of her biting into a kiwi like an apple. She's a savage.
Wait, what? She eats kiwis like an apple?
Literally just bites into it like an apple. Yeah,
I'm
with the skin on.
Kiwis, so no, I can't.
And I think when I said this is an abomination, she said something like, I have tasted the frongs of life. The furry skin of the future or something. It was some kind of thing. I'm like, this is repulsive. I think, oh yeah, that was, she posted a picture of it and said something like, my husband's threatened to leave me on the cruise for this. I was like, yeah, I should have kicked you off. Like,
well, there's always the next cruise because clearly she keeps winning cruises on cruises on cruises.
It seems so. She won like 2 in a row.
Hey, She's got some great luck. Can I like rub her single A cups?
I didn't even know you could win a cruise on a cruise.
Me neither.
It's insane.
She's lucky. So, as is wonky eyebrow for 2 British pounds says, Wicked is too young to be a boomer. But yeah, she boomered the stream real hard. And it's funny because I did that once and now she knows exactly what I went through.
I think you did it for exactly the same. I think you were on your phone as well.
Yes, I was on my phone and we were in Florida and we thought it would be better to be on my phone, but it wasn't. And I ended the stream and I thought I didn't end the stream. Blah, 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 blah. Anywho. So love you,
like, bye. I was like, wait, what's
we
happening?
said bye to everyone. Axel Jessen says, my favorite way is seek Canadian healthcare for $2. If you want to end your life in Minecraft, then yes.
The doctors will help you.
MTB Steve, member for 14 months, says, keep me frothy. Thanks. I think that has to be in your butthole to keep it frothy.
Frothy is worse than creamy. It is.
Is it though?
Yes,
like,
because
I don't know.
Yeah, because
like, what's the difference?
Well, before frothy, it was creamy. Like frothy is the next stage. You've got to froth something.
How do you? I don't know if I want to ask this.
Vigorous activity.
Okay, never mind.
Stirring. Or rabies. It could just be rabies. I'd still stand by that.
Rabies in your butthole. You're right.
Yep.
You're right. Thank you. Thank you, Anthony Steve. Justin Martins for 5 says, looks like someone put X-ray in the corner. What did you do, X-ray? I am in the corner. Can I tell you?
Can you imagine if someone opened the door? Bang! I was like, oh no.
This is a closet. There's no one that's
okay.
open the door. Like,
yeah, it's like someone walks in, you just go flying.
Yeah, there is a door over here. So I actually haven't moved much from my original setup. Literally over here was where I sat in that chair. I just moved it over here now.
Yeah.
For context. Axel Jessen for 5 says, listen to the Egyptian cheese farmer. The slopes are a lie. I
That's
don't know
about
what
her
I read.
Feet. When she says she's got a polite Egyptian slope, it means where your feet, all of them descended. So your big toe going downwards.
Okay.
Rather than little toes being bigger and all that kind of stuff.
I think Savvy and I should just take pics of our feet together. Anyways, Ed Song for $10 is
whatever it takes to bond, I suppose. Let's get drunk and take feet pictures. We move in very different worlds.
Yeah. That lady looks 5 times of you. I don't remember the last Soundgarden was relevant. It looks like a bunch of boomers trying to catch a rolling semi-truck. I
probably
don't
would be
know
5
what
of
he
me.
said there.
The stage diver, who was the lead singer of Soundgarden, she was their replacement. And I think it was her first performance. So she was trying to show off, and it didn't go very well.
The lady jumping in the crowd.
Mm-hmm. That's also another thing. People are more likely to try and catch you if they like you. So if you're the first time you've ever performed...
Because they want to touch you.
Well, they don't like her anyway. They don't know who she is. She just turned up, essentially. It's her first performance on stage that she's ever done. And you want want the crowd to save you? You've got to win them over first.
The audacity of that. Like, I would never, in any capacity, think I would want to crowd surf, because also I don't want people to touch me. Hashtag me too, as we talked about earlier. And so, yeah, I think she wanted people to touch her. She wanted secretly to have more connection with people. And the sad part about it is she probably really feels sad about it because no one wanted to catch her.
There is a... Yeah, if everyone moves out the way, it'll all going, not me.
That is a huge ego deflation.
Well, it was definitely huge. All I'm saying, like, there are a lot of, like, tiny, petite Asian women that the one guy could have just caught on their own. But everyone saw that. It was like the Red Sea parting. It was like, I'm not injuring myself. I'm not having a bad back for the rest of my life. It
is what it is. I don't like the idea of crowd surfing. I don't even like the idea of mosh pits.
It would be weird to see you in a mosh pit. That would be bizarre.
Why?
Because you get battered.
Actually, so I was a great defense in soccer / goalie.
Doesn't matter.
Was a brick. People can't, unless, of course,
not against like men which would weigh more than you, be taller than you, and using their full speed.
So unless they're taller, way more than me, like I would say at least 30 to 40% I can take down.
I think that women generally compare themselves to other women, but I also think you compare yourself against men that were very polite to you. And in mosh pits, they're not polite to you.
No, that's why I say 30 to 40, because it's not as generous as most of what other women say.
It is one of my favorite things is there was a video of this woman came back and she was like, I've just been taking self-defense lessons, and she was like to her husband, like, you know, I can take you. It's not I can't. I can, but you can't. Like, go on then. And she literally goes and she goes to kick him and he just grabs her leg, pulls, and she just falls on the floor. Like, I want a refund.
Okay, you know what? Disbrew, I just steal Mark's leg and he falls down on the ground. It's fine.
I'm not sure beating an amputee victim is like, no, I can beat up guys. It's like, look, I know he's in the military, but that means he could fend you off with a gun. It's like, I'm not sure true. Mark is generally there like, no, I'd make a great MMA fighter. That's probably not his specialty.
He is good at Krav Maga. Anyhow,
it would be cool if you could modify his leg to have like, what was it in
like little powers?
No, the movie, not Watchmen, The Kingsman. There was one of them where they had like a blade as a leg. Like he could get quite proficient with one of them.
Her blades, it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah, she would like cut people in half with them and stuff. It's like that does seem awesome. Like it'd hurt.
Yeah, no, it would hurt. Mitchell Fields for $2 says, but I wear matching colors IRL. I feel attacked. LOL. I'm sorry, I don't actually know what you're talking about.
That was the Spider-Man socks versus trousers. Sevy rant about green socks.
I didn't talk about it, so you can talk about it with Sylvie. I don't know.
I didn't really understand the socks thing. I think the art style itself was awful. That's what I had a problem with.
I mean, the style was awful, so I can agree with that. Gay Carpenter for 5 says, I seem to remember woke tards calling orcs and goblins racists in LOTR.
They still are.
Yes, they still are. And they're talking about even Spider-Man being racist, so the trailer wasn't good. Justin Martins for 5 says, it's exhausting. They never show proof of any actual racism, if any exists at all. And that's the thing is when it comes to the extremist, they go by feelings. It's not by facts.
Well, yeah, but they state a thing and then they never really explain what the problem is. Like I saw in a thing the other day where it was like only 10%. Oh, there was one from like an old award ceremony thing. It was like 10 years ago she said this. And she was presenting an award and she said, this is to the best directors, of which no women were nominated. What so? So what? But she's supposed to just say it and then as if it's a problem, as if things should just match out perfectly or something. And it's what they do with this. They will go, oh, well, you know, this thing has just got this group in it. Like, so? What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
And if you don't genuinely engage with it, they don't actually have a reason why. You put the emphasis on them to explain the problem because it will they will make themselves sound abominable. just explaining their own ideology.
The crazy part is they don't have the resources in their head besides feelings in order to prove their opinions, which is really sad.
Well, it's because if they explained what it was, they'd prove themselves to be evil. So you always make them explain themselves. Because it's all, like, whatever the worst situation is, that's why it is. That's exactly why they believe what it is.
Absolutely. Mitchell Fields for 5 says, speaking of Pokemon, is Beardo still running from playing Pokemon? I was rooting for him, but now I hope you put him over your knee and spank him. I will not be doing that to Beardo. I don't know if Disbrew plans on doing that to Beardo.
Oh, I wasn't planning to. I actually don't know the Beardo lore. I only hear Beardo lore from like Mike streams, like random things. Like he eats bananas for the shape. That's something I know. He enjoys straightening out bananas. That's another thing that I know. I also know there's some kind of
throat.
I literally only know the end of the meme. So there's another one. Apparently he skips leg day. I don't know that either. So I just see like the aftermath without the context. So I don't know.
Oh, dang. Ian Carell's for $4.99. Side note: read The Imperial Cruise by James Bradley. I'll have to look that up. Thank you so much.
Never even heard of it.
I know you know a lot of good books, so I have to still read the Sanderson. No, anything Sanderson, realistically.
Yeah, Mistborn's the easiest to get into.
Yes. Jesus Stefilla has gifted a Wicked Virtue membership. Thank you so much, Jesus. Ed Song for 5 says, I like this boot conversation. I believe we need a demonstration from the 3 hosts. Okay, I will repeat this. So there are structured bras in shirts like H&M for itty bitty titty committee that cut my boobs off here. My boobs do not go to here. My boobs are under here. So if you cut them here, they look really odd. And so that's why I don't shop at H&M or any mainstream, very popular clothing company.
I just assumed that there'd be essentially 2 styles. One for people with and one for people without. That's how I thought it would work.
Because I haven't found a good strapless top that I like that will make my boobs look great. So there we go. I always have to have a strap. Axel Jackson for $2 says 3 bean salad is an actual food. I believe you. John Thomas
Probably been eaten on the floor at some point.
Well, with Savvy, you never know. John Thomas for 5 says the music channel Wings of Pegasus did an evaluation of Taylor Swift's last tour and proved the entire performance was lip synced.
I wouldn't be surprised. I know a lot of people do now, which I think is horrific, basically. If you go and see someone, you want to see them perform, not
That's
them.
The point of being live is to
Yeah.
be entertained with them singing, dancing, whatever it is that is their band. I would be okay with just watching them walk around singing.
Yes.
If that
and
was
you would be okay with a worse
stuff.
performance, but hearing them live than a perfect one that was just recorded in a studio and like.
What's the point? Because I can listen to your CD on
I could
Spotify.
play your CD anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a bit like going to a comedy show and they go, okay, I'm here. Let's watch my Netflix special. And I'm like, why?
I also don't think I should watch Netflix specials of artists like that. Sorry, not sorry.
Well, I don't know. Like Jimmy Carr has some Netflix special comedy and stuff.
Well, comedy is different from live artists.
Oh, yeah.
There's something extremely different. So Jedi55 says, Disparate, I thought you were going to say gun leg like the chick from Grindhouse Planet Terror movie.
I thought about that, but he's got arms. So putting a gun on your leg seems like a downgrade from just holding it. And so you want like a different ability.
The recoil from a gun on your leg would be insane.
Well, I have a feeling, I'm not sure whether Grindhouse Planet is the one. I do remember a movie where she put like a gun on her leg, and a lot of it was like her lying down. Or I think she did fire it where she was just on one leg pointing. So,
is that even possible? Like, I don't know. As a gun expert, I have no idea.
Wasn't it one of the women from Charmed that was in it? I'm not sure whether it's the right movie I'm thinking of.
Sure.
I think it might be. It is the woman from Charmed. Yeah.
But either way, like it's when it comes to that sort of stuff, as long as you feed into the nostalgia in a positive way with the positive feedback loop that happened with the nostalgia, you're fine. And I say feedback loop because, for example, boobs, easy way to make that positive feedback loop.
Well,
but not everyone does it.
It's the same with like attractive people in general, like characters in Marvel Rivals versus other Marvel, like the Marvel Avengers game and stuff. Marvel Avengers looks way worse. Just people give you more leniency if you're more attractive. That is a universal thing. It always has been.
That's called pretty privilege.
Well, yes, but it's weird to forget that. You would think that products would want to have as many benefits as possible. Yeah.
It happens in real life, whether you like it or not. So might as well lean into it.
Attractive people get lower prison sentences than ugly people. Like, this has been measured. Yes. Judges give attractive people less sentences. And it's not like an erotic thing either.
It's just automatic because it's a pretty privilege.
Yes. Like, even if it's like you're not attracted to men, if it's an ugly bloke, you will treat them worse than a more attractive person. I think it's just probably less important for men because men respect your deeds a lot more.
Well, and whether it's men or female, do you see the difference in the way you're treated? What was it? Animal with Rob Schneider, and when he became a man or she became a man, she realized what she couldn't get away with.
Well, it's like Henry Cavill. I don't think people would let Henry Cavill get away with some of the movies that he'd done if he was ugly. I just don't.
Sure.
Like, Henry Cavill gets given a lot of leeway, and it's like, yes, a lot of it is for his attitude, but
he is.
If he was ugly, would you get the same amount of leeway for the same attitude?
Absolutely gorgeous. So thank you, Jedi, for the super chat. We also got Justin Martins for $10. Says Beardo's afraid of 1v1 Savvy in Pokemon, and Beardo doesn't straighten bananas with his mouth or other end. You guys need to brush up on your G&G lore. You're just embarrassing yourselves at this point. I don't
never said I was up to date on G&G lore.
I don't watch every G&G stream. I'm so sorry. To be fair,
in-jokes are for the inside people.
Let's just say Tugs and I streamed at 6 p.m. Eastern for a long time, and G&G took that spot eventually from 9 p.m. Eastern to 6 p.m. So I'm not watching it because I already was streaming then. I love G&G, honestly, but it's hard to watch every stream when you also have work and watch other streams. So, this brew, what is coming up for you?
Last thing I published was a Squid Game Season 2 review. Next is, I'm not sure, but it might be about the Golden Globes and a comedian that doesn't want to offend anyone when she's presenting it. And so I think there's something about how the presentation of those awards isn't meant to be for the celebrities at the event, it's meant for the audience. And you should give the audience what they want. And if that means that you offend the people there, that's what you should be doing. And so I want to look at like essentially the purpose of comedy and presentation.
I love your videos. I love how you can take a less than an hour video and make it longer than an hour by your reactions because how bad it is. So.
Those are the best ones. I really enjoy the reviews of things. And there's a lot of comments. How this is longer than the episode? It's like, yeah, because you have to show what happened in the episode and then talk about. Of course, it's longer.
You didn't watch the episode, you don't know.
Well, yeah, it's like otherwise, if it was like 10 minutes, I'd have to cut out most of the episode. It's like, but that cuts out a lot of the quality stuff.
Absolutely. Tomorrow, painting, Forbidden Frontier, and not Saucy, Sunday Fun Day. So. Find us over there. I'm very drunk and I probably should go to bed and all that fun stuff. This is a fun one. I'm very sorry that Wicked was only here for a short time.
But I'm very sorry she destroyed the stream.
Honestly, I want
to imagine the spite it takes to leave a stream and be like, if I can't be in it, no one can.
I'm sure people have held that position before. So.
I shall destroy the stream on the way out. It's nothing without me.
So freaking literally. So thank you everyone for the super chats, the donations, the mods, everyone in the chat. Thank you, MadamSavvy. If you have enjoyed her being on, not in this description at least, but at least in the previous stream, you can find her links to her Twitter and her YouTube. You can find her over there. And I hope you guys all have a great Saturday night. I would say I would redirect you, but I don't have the powers to that. So I believe Project Eggroll is about to get started if he has not already. So go to youtube.com/Project Eggroll, something of the sorts. I'm sure if you search Project Eggroll, you can find him. He is my bro. And I hope you guys have a good night. So have a good one. Bye.
Yeah.